God has already prepared it for you. It's already finished. And so we're actually just coming along for the ride, and we're just showing up with our yes. And he's doing the heavy lifting. And so this is received. This is our inheritance. Welcome to another episode of the Rhema NOW podcast. We are Nathanael and Kirsten Vossler. And today we're going to talk about how God wants to talk to you, and he wants to tell you about your promised land. He wants to invite you into the promise that he has prepared for you. Let me tell you a story of my own personal journey with the Lord. I would say over the last several years, I've been asking God for instructions for the day every morning. And it has been such an amazing journey, and I highly recommend it. Anybody out there who's listening and you wonder if that would be something you could do, absolutely. Take about 10 minutes and say, God, what are your instructions for me today? And then take the time to stop and wait on him and listen to what he says. And you'll be amazed. I thought he was going to hit me with a huge to-do list or a big hairy assignment or something intimidating or scary. And I wasn't sure about it. But when I went ahead and started asking him that every day, I was amazed because I felt like he had a different perspective and a different approach than I was anticipating. And what I discovered is that he cared immensely about the condition of my heart, first and foremost. And so he kept telling me, hey, I want you to be at peace today. I want you to walk in my love today, or I want you to just follow me today. Let's do everything together. Or I want you to rest today. And as we talked in the previous episode, kind of about the different realms of the physical realm, the spiritual realm, and the realm of your soul. And what God was telling me is, I want your heart and your soul to be at rest, at peace. And then as I would go about my physical work, it would be a different experience because I was approaching it out of an internal state of rest and peace. So I wasn't coming at it from stress and anxiety and worry. I was coming at it from a place of peace and trust in God. And that made all the difference. And so I've been living that for several years. But then one day, God changed it up. And he told me on this one particular morning, enter into my rest. And that was different. Mm-hmm. It was different from the way that he's been talking to me. And it really got my attention. So I looked it up. I found it in Hebrews. And it just rocked my world because of the context of what he was asking me to do as part of my regular instructions for the day. What I discovered was he was asking me to enter into a bigger arrangement with him than just the daily state of rest. He wanted me to enter into his rest permanently. So when I got to Hebrews chapter 4, here's what it said. God's promise of entering his rest still stands. So we ought to tremble with fear that some of you might fail to experience it. For this good news that God has prepared this rest has been announced to us just as it was to them. But it did them no good because they didn't share the faith of those who listened to God.
Wow.
For only we who believe can enter his rest. And later on, it says, so God's rest is there for people to enter. But those who first heard this good news failed to enter because they disobeyed God. So God set another time for entering his rest, and that time is today. God announced this through David much later in the words already quoted, today when you hear his voice, don't harden your hearts. And so
amazing.
I was just amazed that God was telling me this instruction to enter into his rest. And what I realized, it actually took me about 3 days, but after 3 days of mulling it over and continually asking him, what do you mean by that? And then studying Hebrews, all of a sudden it hit me. And I realized that the things that God has been asking us to do, the things that he has called us to do with Rhema NOW and with creating the app and with moving forward in helping people hear from God, helping people to build their lives on Jesus through encountering him regularly. Mm-hmm. he was saying, I've invited you into that. And you can trust me. He was making the invitation plain. And he was telling me that I could accept and receive and enter into his rest by believing that he is going to bring it to pass, that together in partnership, it can happen. What he was telling me to do was to believe so that I could enter his rest.
Mm-hmm.
And I realized up until that point, we were still kind of on the fence. We were still not 100% sure that we could pull this off and continue doing it full time because financially it didn't quite make sense. But when God was emphasizing this, he was drawing a line in the sand and he was saying so clearly, I'm inviting you to continue to build Rhema Now and to push that effort forward full time. And if you believe me that I'm inviting you into that, and as you accept this, as you take possession of your promised land, that I'll be able to enter his rest and everything's going to be okay. And it's all going to work out and we're going to be taken care of, and God will miraculously provide and he will miraculously open doors and he will make a way even when there might not seem to be a way. And so that hit us so squarely between the eyes. Honestly, it was such a big relief because we were asking, God, are you sure? Should we be looking for something else to do? Should we only do this? Should we be doing this part-time? And we were really struggling with the decision in front of us.
Yeah.
And so when he came out with this and just invited me into it, deep in my heart, I was like, what else are we going to do? Like, what option is there other than to accept your invitation, God?
Yeah.
Like, there's nothing else.
Mm-mm.
There's no other option. And so we took that morning on the day 3 after he had told me to enter into his rest. And we took that morning together and we prayed and we basically just gave God our yes. And we said, we accept your invitation. We receive it. We receive your promise for us. And we trust that you are going to see us through. You're going to see it through. I tell you what, that moment was so powerful. We were, of course, in tears. And after that, I think it was the next day, I couldn't even believe how peaceful my entire body was. Like my soul was at complete rest.
Mm-hmm.
The inner narrative of the worry and the wondering and the questioning was silent.
Mm-hmm.
And I could tell even physically my body was in a state of rest. I was telling Kirsty, like, I don't think I've felt this deep of a physical state of rest and peace since my childhood. And that continued for days and weeks. And I think now I've gotten used to it. And I continue to enjoy that level of peace. And it's
which is a miracle.
Yeah.
Because there has been so much going on in our lives, in the world and everywhere. And to be able to live at that state of peace is incredible.
I know. And I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful that God showed this to me. I love how it's founded on this entire concept in Hebrews. And what I believe God is also saying is, I don't think that this is just for us. I don't think that this is something that's unique to us. And I don't think it's something that was unique to Moses. And it wasn't unique to Abraham. It wasn't unique to Jeremiah or Isaiah or any of the people in the Bible, that God came to them and invited them into something and spoke to them about becoming a father of nations, or freeing the people of Israel from slavery and bringing them into the promised land, or being a prophet to the whole nation of Israel and announcing the coming savior of the world. You know, all of these people had an encounter with God and he invited them into something. And so what I'm realizing is that's not just for professional ministers or big Bible characters. This is for every believer. This is part of our relationship with God.
Yeah.
As a believer, I think God has something unique and special that he wants to invite every one of us into, because he gave us each a unique identity.
Mm-hmm.
He has purposes and plans for us that he prepared before we were even born. That's true of everybody. And he also has assignments and promised lands for us to possess. It's going to be, promised land is going to be symbolic of whatever that is in your life. For us, in this season, it happened to be founding a new organization that helps people build their lives on Jesus and connect with the Spirit of God to be able to encounter Jesus regularly and be able to function in that capacity. And that's kind of our promised land. And I think it could be anything. It could be like being a parent and raising kids. It could be whatever God is calling you into. And the idea is that you get to have an encounter with God and you get to experience his invitation into whatever that is for you.
The thing you're going to notice, and the thing we've noticed, is that when God invites us into something, it's always something that's bigger than we can handle, something bigger than we can do on our own. And that's by design, because we were not designed to do things on our own. We were actually designed to live in partnership with God and have to do everything with Jesus, with the Holy Spirit.
Mm-hmm.
And so this is a divine setup for us to build relationship and dependency on God. It's a chance for God to show up on our behalf and prove his love and his goodness towards us. And that is really amazing. It just blows my mind that the God of the universe is so intentional in his relationship with us. He's so intentional that he's like, I don't want you to do it on your own. I'm going to give you this thing. And then it says later on in Hebrews 12, it says, we look to Jesus. We fix our eyes on Jesus, who is the author. He's the initiator and the perfecter of our faith. And so we are not able to enter the promised land, whatever that is for each one of us. We are not able to do that apart from fixing our eyes on Jesus, apart from intimacy, daily, consistent relationship with him. That is an absolutely mandatory piece of this puzzle. And God, in his kindness, sets us up that way because he just wants so much to be in relationship with us. He is so passionate about you. He's so passionate about us. He wants that relationship. So as you begin to seek the Lord and say, God, what is my assignment? What is the promised land that you have prepared for me ahead of time? Remember that it's not going to be something that you're able to handle by yourself. It's going to require that you listen to the Lord, that you seek him in every single thing, every little detail. Mm-hmm. Remember, there's nothing too small. There's nothing that he is unconcerned about. He cares about all the details, all the things about it, all of your questions, your worries, your fears, your excitement, every single thing. He is into it. And he wants to partner with you and join with you. And in fact, it's the only way we're going to actually make it.
Yeah. And remember, God has already prepared it for you. It's already finished. And so we're actually just coming along for the ride, and we're just showing up with our yes. Mm-hmm. And we're simply following whatever he's asking us to do. And he's doing the heavy lifting. And so this is received. This is our inheritance. I saw a post on Instagram today and it said something like, you can't buy an inheritance.
That's right.
I just love that concept. Even just in what it is, there's nothing you can do to earn it. You can't buy it. You can't force it, manipulate it. It's something you simply receive because of who you are.
Yeah, and the relationship that
you're in.
Wow.
And so as children of God, he has this inheritance for you, for us. And all we have to do is receive it. And there is an element of we have to attach our faith, and we have to believe, and we have to give him our yes. Mm-hmm. And then we get to partner with him and follow him. What is he doing? And then we join in with what he's already doing. And that's when the miracles are going to break out. That's when that's when the walls of Jericho fall down. That's when the Red Sea parts.
Yep.
And that's what God always had in mind,
Mm-hmm.
is that level of partnership would join forces with you and help you fulfill your promised land.
So we actually have something that will be helpful for you. Nathanael mentioned at the very beginning that he had been listening to the Lord and asking for his instructions for the day for years. And we actually have incorporated that as a listening prayer session in the Rhema NOW app. The app is free to download, so we would encourage you to go and get it either on Apple or Android. We will leave a link in the description where you can do that. And the very first track that you will see on there is asking God's instructions for the day. It's totally free. You'll be able to access that listening session with just a couple of clicks. It will lead you first through a setup prayer, and then it will lead you into the question, God, what are your instructions for me today? And then it will give you plenty of time to just sit and listen to the Lord and what he is saying for you. The whole thing is only about 10 minutes long. So everybody has time to do this. Mm-hmm. You can do it anywhere you are. And we just want to encourage you to go and just start doing that yourself. Try it out. See how you like it. And just enjoy the fruit that begins to come into your life because of this daily connection with Jesus.
That's so good. It will be the best 10 minutes of your day. I guarantee it. All right, well, that's what we wanted to share with you today. We hope this was a huge encouragement for you today. We believe that God has so much in store for you. And so we are just thrilled that we get to share these experiences with you, our journey with you, and hopefully guide you into your own encounters and your own experiences with the Lord and your own journey with Jesus. So be blessed. We love you. We'll see you on the next one.